am I still first? Like, I can't believe it. And the last 8 station, like, am I first? Like, dude, you've been first for hours.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another GottaRunRacing episode.
Welcome.
We got a good one for you today, but first let's talk about our inaugural
Rainbow Trail Run.
Trail Run. How did that go?
It was hot. I think the humidity was over 40 that day.
Yep.
And the runners were such troopers for gutting it out because it was hot.
It was a hot day.
Everybody used ice.
And the funny thing is, they run right beside a lake or a river, but I didn't know anybody jumped in.
Well, there was a warning for goose poop, so they probably were weighing their options there.
Yeah.
No, it went really well, though. It was fun. I have so much excitement over the potential for this race.
Yeah, we're going to definitely have a night-only run. We're going to go up to 100 Mile. And there's camping, and people were camping just because of this race.
Yep.
Yeah, they came over to camp just to make it happen. Yeah.
And the pool should be open next year.
Yeah, the pool. Imagine doing 100K or 100 Mile and jump in the pool after.
Awesome.
That'd be great.
What's next?
Next on the agenda, we have what you're wearing, Island Lake Classic, and then what I'm wearing,
Coyote.
the last Chase the Coyote. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're busy.
September is going to be busy, yes.
Busy. I'd like to give a shout out, if I may.
Yeah, to
our very first Patreon supporter,
What?
Jason K. from Ohio.
Way to go, Jason. Thanks so much for supporting us.
Thank you, Jason. And if you'd like to join Jason so that he's not alone on our list of supporters, check out our Patreon via our website, GottaRunRacing.com.
Yeah.
Jason will be receiving a little care package in the mail, welcoming him to the show. Mm-hmm. And so can you.
All right. And who's on the podcast today?
All right. Well, today we have Ihor Verys, 27 years old, originally from Ukraine, now living in BC.
And what did he do recently?
Well, let's see. He won Fat Dog 120 a couple weekends ago.
Unbelievable. And it was a long race for him, as far as I know. I think it was the longest race he did. I'm not too sure. Can't wait to find out more about him, because not too many people know about him.
No, he's new on the scene.
Yeah, he's young, and everything he's done, he's won so far, basically. So
that's right. Yeah, he has a good record.
Yeah, he's batting 1,000.
All right, well.
Here's Ihor Verys coming up. Welcome, Ihor, to the podcast, and a big congrats to you at Fat Dog.
Thank you, guys. It's quite an honor to be on the podcast. You know, I don't get invited to podcasts every day, so thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely, it's quite an achievement, and we can't wait to talk about it. But first,
I want to know how this all started with you, because you're relatively young to the sport of ultra running. So I'm just curious how running even became into part of your life.
Well, when I moved to Canada, I needed something to keep myself busy, and I figured running was going to be the cheapest sport to get into, and in fact, it still is. Right? You need just those shoes, this was my way to kind of get out and vent off, and just to be there on my own with my thoughts. Get everything sorted out. And I started I started like 4 or 5 years ago, and I would do something short. Eventually I started doing half marathons and then marathons, but then COVID hit and the only place I could go was the trail, because you couldn't run on the streets because you would be judged, right? You can't be on the streets, right? So trail was the only place you could go, and I discovered trail running, and I never went back to road running ever since. So it is a relatively new sport to me too. So it's been 2 years since I was trail running, and then I was just exploring it more and more, and I was always curious, okay, so people run more than marathons. All right, let's look at it. And then I did a couple longer trails back when I lived in Manitoba, and I really loved it. And the further I went, the more enjoyable it was. Well, to an extent, right? So it's always interesting to see what's going on. Like, is it possible? And when I learned about Fat Dog 2 years ago, I was shocked. Like, I honestly, when I saw that, and then I watched the YouTube video, and I was like, holy, people are doing it in one shot. And it was just so impressive. So I always was moving, well, ever since I was moving towards that goal of trying and experiencing the 100 milers. And Fat Dog was a goal for sure this year. Yeah, and here I am 2 years after I learned about ultra running. Yeah, I guess I'm an ultra runner myself.
Now, what ended up being your first ultra?
It was Finlayson Arm, 100K. So I moved here in July, end of June. And yeah, the next race available here in BC was Finlayson Arm 100K. It's on the island.
Okay.
Very beautiful race. And I still think that it's probably the most technical terrain I've ever run. There's not much running there going on. It's just so steep, just going up and down. And yeah, you gain 6,000 meters over 100 kilometers.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a pretty challenging race. And yeah, I really liked it. And it worked out well for me. And it goes overnight. So you start at 5 p.m.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so you don't really get too many views unless you run a bit longer and running into the day. But yeah, that was my first ultra race. It was 100K, and I skipped the 50K distance. Yeah, I was signed up for one in Manitoba, but it was canceled because of COVID.
Ah, okay. What town is Finlayson race near?
It's near Victoria. So
okay.
It's in Golden Stream Provincial Park.
Okay.
And I think Ailsa McDonald is doing it, the 50K this year, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's a very popular race, and it's one of the toughest 100Ks, I think, here in Canada. It's really challenging. The fact that you're running overnight and the trail is just so technical. There's, as I said, not much running.
Well, we did speak to Elsa, and she'll probably end up winning it again. So.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, I saw she was on your podcast as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has been. But let's not forget, you won. Did you not? You won the race.
I did. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel sometimes that it's just too much attention, that's around me. I did win, but I don't know. Maybe I just lucked out, or I had a good day, and well, everything came into place. So,
well, that's the thing. You got on the start line, but nobody knew who you were.
Like at Finlayson?
Yes, Finlay, exactly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sure.
So now you've been getting some attention lately. Yes.
Yeah, and actually, I still wearing the Trails of Toba shirt. So that's the company that puts on races in Manitoba. So people thought that I was from Manitoba, probably, and in fact I was. It's been only 2 months since I moved when that race happened. Yeah, so actually a couple people came up to me because they saw the shirt, like, oh, you're from Manitoba. I started very slow, and I was in third, second at the beginning, but then I was just listening to my body, I guess, and that helped me to,
for sure,
get in first. And I was surprised. Yeah, when I won, I was surprised. Like, I was running with my last kilometer. I was like, am I still first? Like, I can't believe it. And the last 8 stations, I'm like, am I first? Like, dude, you've been first for hours.
Everyone else just stopped running.
But I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, really? This is my first ultra. Am I winning it?
Now, I think maybe next, but would be the BC Backyard Ultra. So just for our listeners, can you explain the concept of a backyard ultra and also what drew you to that format?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So it's a very weird at the same time unique format, masterminded by Lazarus Lake, the person behind Barclays Marathons. So he came up with that idea where you run 6.7 kilometers or 4.16 mile loops every hour, an hour, and you start at the top of the hour. And if you finish earlier than an hour, you have some time to rest. And if you don't finish it within an hour, you're out. If you cannot start at the beginning of the hour, you're out.
Right.
So you run until there's 2 people left. And when the second last person drops out, you're allowed to do 1 more loop, and then the race is over. So even though you say you could keep going, but you cannot. So it depends on the person that drops out second last. You're allowed to do 1 more loop after, and it's done. That's why it takes 2 people to go far, at least. So,
and how did you do?
I don't know. So I ran 39 hours, and the assist, the person that I was second last, he's actually from Chilliwack as well.
Wow.
He's my running buddy, and we were training together and running together, and so he ended up doing 38 hours. Therefore, I was allowed to do 1 more hour. And
Right.
And in October there will be teams championships where we're not going to go against each other. So again, it's going to be so different. We're going to go as a team against other countries. So all our loops will be added together.
Mm-hmm.
And whichever country ran the most loops wins.
Nice.
And where will that be?
That will be in Summerland, BC. So
Okay.
really close, and there's best runners from all over Canada in this format are coming over. There's runners from Ontario, Quebec, and Alberta, and lots of runners from BC, New Brunswick. So it will be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I've never done a race like that, but I'd be so afraid just to leave the start line area in case I missed the bell or something like that. I would just bring me my stuff that I need. I'm not leaving the start line.
Yeah, well, they whistle 3 times. So 3 minutes before the start, 2 minutes, and then 1 minute, and then it's an hour 10 we're right around the starting corral. So it's really hard to miss it.
Okay.
So you would be fine.
You'd be stuck in the bathroom. He'd be in the porta potty. I guarantee you.
Probably. I'll lose 10 minutes right there.
No, you should give it a try. I recommended it to everyone. It's just because it's just so different, and you actually get to chat with the community so much because you always start together, right? And you might be a little bit faster, but you always start the same people, and you get to talk to them, and we get to learn everything about them, basically. Literally everything, because you spend hours and hours out there, and sometimes like, what else can we talk about here? Okay. Right?
That's not running. That has nothing to do with running.
And we just bond so much over all that time, because obviously we're all trying to do really good, so kind of try to push each other further. At the end of the day, we're all competitors when it comes to individual competition, right? But still, and there were people who were playing some mind games, who were trying to show how fast they were after 30 hours, and also this format is really interesting for spectators.
Yes.
Everyone who came to cheer for us, they are all coming to cheer for us in Summerland now, because they said it's the best format to watch, because you see the runner every hour.
Right.
Yeah. So this is, I definitely recommend to try. It's just so different, such a different mindset. You're not trying to sprint out, and speed is nothing. As long as you can get 6.7K within an hour, which is, you can walk that distance, right? Half walk, half run. And in fact, that's what it is. It's not as much running as walking competition.
I'm doing math in my head, but how many K did you end up getting?
261.
261.
Wow,
okay.
That's nice.
That's incredible.
So let's move on to Sinister 7.
Yes.
Was that your warm up to Fat Dog?
Well, it wasn't a plan. Like, I wanted to do Fat Dog, but we didn't know if it was going to happen. Well, race directors have not announced it, and I wanted to do a 100-miler, and Sinister was already there. I could sign up right away, so I didn't want to miss out on, in case, say, Fat Dog is canceled or postponed again. It was canceled twice,
Yes.
2 years in a row, right? So I signed up for Sinister. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm going to sign up for Sinister because I just want to do a 100-miler in the mountains because I think that's where I'm going to. And then it turned out that that Fat Dog is happening now, and it was my dream to run Fat Dog, test myself. And the race director is my running buddy here. Like, I met him here. We were running together.
Wow.
And he was like, yeah, I'm the Fat Dog race director, by the way. And I'm like, oh, nice. So is it going to happen? And he's like, yeah, it's going to happen this year. I'm like, okay, I want to sign up. And Finlayson Arm qualified me for Fat Dog because you got to do something similar in order to just sign up. And I was like, okay, I guess let's do it. 4 weeks between 2 races, I can handle it. You know, I admire the ultrarunning legend Karl Meltzer. And you've obviously heard the Speed Goat.
Yes.
So he's the one who was racing every month, sometimes twice a month, which professional coaches would say, okay, this is nuts. That's not right. Like, you were peaking only once or twice a year, they say, right? And he was like defying everything. He would run every single month, sometimes twice a month, and he would win all those races. So his recovery was impressive. So I thought, like, okay, well, Karl Meltzer can do like 1,000 milers a year. I can do 2 within 4 weeks. So,
and his motto is 100-mile is not that far.
There you go, right? So, that's right. Yes, and that's how I ended up being on the list of both races.
And you ended up winning Sinister 7, of course. But I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Is that, do you like to lead from the beginning, or do you like to feel out the course to see what's going on with your competitors before you make any kind of move?
Well, that's the thing. I never lead from the beginning. Like, all these, say, 3 races that I did, Finlayson, Sinister, and Fat Dog, I was never in the lead. So I would always start conservative. I always remember that saying that if you think that you're going too slow down. Okay? And like, I always have that in my head at the beginning, because you're a little bit tapered and it seems like you're gonna crush this first hill and you can go all the way, but then gotta keep in mind this is a 100-miler. Course record is 18 hours. Okay, so it's not gonna be done anytime soon. So you gotta make sure you still are moving strong 10, 15 hours after. So yeah, and I was always chasing I was in the chase pack. Yeah, and I don't mind it, actually. Chasing feels like I feel like if you're first, there's more pressure. So you're always gonna look behind over your shoulder, make sure, and
you lose energy that way.
What's that?
You lose energy looking over your shoulder.
Right? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, for sure. But even at Fat Dog, because I took the lead halfway through the race, so it was at night. It was kilometer 105. And when I passed the first guy, who was also the guy I was racing at Sinister, Scott Cooper, exceptionally talented runner, and at Fat Dog, when I passed him, I still, in my head, I was not thinking about, okay, let's pull away, let's build the lead. And no, in my head, like, okay, if he's going to pass me again, that's totally fine. Just going to keep doing my race. I'm just going to run by feel. And if he's going to pass me, whatever. He's the stronger runner then, and I didn't let myself think about winning until like the very last kilometer. when I saw that finish line and you go around the lake for 1 kilometer, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, And I asked my pacer, is anyone behind us?
Yeah, he's the one who's supposed to be looking over his shoulder.
Right? Yeah.
That's his job.
And he was always checking, so he did an amazing job. And and I was like, no one there. I'm like, okay, I feel like we're gonna win it then, you know. And yeah, so only then I had that kind of racing mind that, okay, let's keep going. Last kilometer, we're gonna do it.
Now, what was it about Fat Dog that was sort of like your dream race? What made it your dream race?
Well, they say it's the hardest, one of the hardest races in the world, right? The Outside Magazine, and they also mentioned that if you can make it hard rock, Fat Dog could be a substitute. There's no altitude like in hard rock, obviously. We don't go about 2,600 meters, but you still gain lots of vert and bonus 26 miles, right? So it's not, I don't know, it's called 100 miler. It's not a 100 miler. It's way further. It's in fact, when I saw like 100 miles in my watch, I'm like, oh my God, another marathon to go. And there's like the steepest section to climb. I'm like, all right. And yeah, it's just a challenge. I was like looking at those people on YouTube video 2 years ago, and I was so impressed by them, and I just wanted to be like them. I wanted to see like what it feels like to push yourself to those limits, and is it hard to, like, what do you feel? And like it's just interesting to explore. I'm a really curious person, just interesting to know what's happening to your body, to your mind when you go that far with no sleep, no stop, and yeah, I was really curious, so I really wanted to try it, and it worked, and I really liked it. I had a really great experience, and I do recommend everyone who can and really into ultrarunning to sign up for this race and do it, because it's so beautiful too. You run on the trail that you would never be otherwise, you know. And race director and volunteers, they're doing an amazing job. They did an amazing job marking it, and the views are just mind-boggling. And we're lucked out with the weather.
Yes,
we didn't have any rain, and it was one of the best years. And yeah, it's very beautiful because, you know, we often get here wildfires, and it's hard to put on something like that in the middle of wildfire season too. So it's, if you want to test your limits and you want to get some great views and definitely see other amazing runners, people doing it, it's the place to be. You know, and the day before the race, I remember sitting in that in the room, the pre-race meeting, just looking at all those people, and it was so inspiring to see so much endurance in the room. You know? These people trained for years and years to be here. They're hard workers, and you know, it takes courage to sign up just for this race. You know, because just wrapping your head around 126 miles nonstop, it's just sometimes so hard, right? So I have so much respect.
And there's people in that room that are at least twice your age.
I know, right?
What other sport would you find that? Like, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the thing. In this sport, you can get into it. You don't have to do it from childhood, right? Like I've never been a sporty person. I didn't like running at high school or even university. This is so new to me. And I see many people who got into it in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and so on. There's so many people who were addicts, who were who were recovering, who didn't have a healthy lifestyle whatsoever.
Yes.
Yet they are crushing. And I have so much respect for all the ages and all the backgrounds that coming here and just chasing their goals, whatever they're doing here. Either they want to win or they want to just get the colored buckle or just regular buckle, beat the cutoffs. You know, or there were people that didn't beat the cutoff, but, you know, or DNF, but they challenged themselves there. You know, they towed the timeline, and I just have so much respect for those people, and being among them is so inspiring, very inspiring.
Yeah.
Every runner has a story, that's for sure.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm assuming you don't have a coach. Just the way
I don't. No.
You don't. Would you consider getting a coach?
I don't know. I feel like I just like the way I'm doing it, and I feel like coach would restrict me from doing what I like. I don't know. My training is a bit different. I do make myself sometimes do, say, speed sessions or, some tempo runs, but I enjoy running for just the pure reason of running, so I get out there and I just have fun, and most of my runs are fun. I just enjoy them, and I feel like getting a coach, obviously there's going to be lots of benefits, and maybe if you want to go pro, you definitely want to get a coach. But at this point, I don't think I need a coach. And then you look at Courtney DeWalter, for instance. She doesn't have a coach either, and she's a pro athlete, right?
Yep.
She does whatever she wants, and she's the best in the world.
She would be a coach's nightmare.
There you go.
Now, you've earned some tickets. You've earned some tickets for Western and Hard Rock. Are you putting your name in the hat for those ones?
I am, but chances are really low, right? But I will for sure. Like the more entries you make, your chances are going up, right? So with time, unless you go and do some qualifiers, right? But then you got to hit top 2, and it's so competitive. But definitely, yeah, I put my name. I will put my name into Western State and Hard Rock lotteries. So those are on my list for sure.
And what about Leadville? Because I read somewhere that Born to Run was your inspiration book.
It was, yeah. I learned about the Raramuri tribe and the chia seeds, and in fact, I'm still consuming chia seeds on a daily basis, like a little bit adding to my smoothies ever since reading that book. And yeah, Leadville is also, I think it's also a lottery though.
Yes.
So, and it will be so hard to do that race, just because of the elevation, and it's something that is really hard to train, even though we have mountains here. But say the highest would be, 2,600 meters. Well, that's nothing. You go 4,000 meters there, right? And you spend hours there. So if you look at the profile, there's not much climbing per se at Leadville, and that the train is not technical, but it's just so hard to run because of low oxygen level.
Yes.
But I would try it. I would come a little bit earlier to acclimate a bit for sure. And just for the community, every race comes with a unique community.
Yep.
You go to Hard Rock, it's just the unique club there. Western State, same, just so much history there, history behind the race. And I would love to experience it for sure.
The fact that you're signing up for Western now is a smart move, because it's going to take 5, 6, 7 years to get in. So
Exactly.
Yeah. And
exactly.
you want to be smart with it too. You don't want to burn out. There's so many athletes out there that also did so much, and all of a sudden they just stop because, either injured themselves and they can't run anymore, so they stick to biking now. Like you look, even professional athletes like Anton Kropitschka, for instance, right? He's such an exceptional runner, and he ended up injuring himself. Say Jeff Rose too, right? Like he did so many of those 100-milers, and all of a sudden he burned out, right?
Yeah.
So you see those amazing athletes out there. And not everyone can be Karl Meltzer, right? He's still rocking it.
That's right.
I go on his ultra sign up page and I scroll and scroll.
It's a book.
I'm like, holy.
It's a book.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Amazing.
Well,
this has been awesome, Ihor. It's really great. Listen, you're a good storyteller. enjoyed listening to you.
Thank you.
We can't wait to see what you do next. We can't wait to see what you do. We're going to be following your career. It's going to be a long and healthy career.
I hope so. Let's hope it's going to be like Carl Melita's career. And I just really hope I won't lose that passion for running, passion for just enjoying being out there and seeing people and just having that childhood feeling. Like, because when you run, you're always forgetting about everything.
Yes.
You're always, you feel so free and burden free, and it always makes you feel like you're a child. So I just want to carry on with that feeling, and I hope I will never lose it. That's why you got to balance a bit there. You don't want to push too hard there either, right? So.
Well, you have the right attitude, certainly. Well, thank you so much, Ihor. It was a real pleasure chatting with you today.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Norm, Jody. I really appreciate that. It's I'm very flattered that you invited me on the podcast. As I said, you don't get invited to podcasts very often. And,
well, the funny thing is that we were just waiting for the results of Fat Dog. Who won this race? Who won this race?
Oh, really?
Even Ellie Greenwood was tweeting, who won this race? We're all waiting. And then finally...
Oh, really?
Yes! There were no social media posts. There was no results for Wednesday?
Because there is no service there, right? Yeah. There is no service anywhere there. So you got to drive at least to the lodge to post. And every aid station, no service whatsoever. So no one knew what was happening there, right?
So exactly. So as soon as we found the results, boom!
Let's get them.
Oh, that's funny. No, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Yep. Thanks so much.
Jody. You too. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
What an impressive young man.
Yep. He's basically young and new to the sport, but he's making some waves out there. He's getting himself noticed.
And he's figured it out. He's figured it out early. It's not all about physical and mental game, keeping his body healthy, not signing up for too many races.
I can't wait to see what he does at the national championship at the
Backyard Ultra.
Yeah. He's going to meet everyone from Canada going to BC to run this thing. That'd be awesome.
It would be. It would be fun to watch that, actually. Yeah. And now that he's mentioned that, it would be an interesting spectator sport.
And also, I hope he gets into Western and Hardback early.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. See what he can do.
Yeah, see what he can do.
Yeah.
Cool.
Love it.
And that was Ihor.
That was Ihor Verys. Chilliwack.
From Chilliwack. All right. And thanks for tuning in.
Cheers.
Bye.